Well, in chapter 1, verse 17, what happened was, again, just to remind you, Chana was, when she was davening, when she was praying, she was moving her lips, she was not yelling out, so Eli assumed that, and she was going along, so she did not fit the normal model of prayer. Eli accused her of being a drunkard, or being drunk at this point. She said, no, I'm not. And depending on which opinion you go by, Rashi or the rest, Rashi was saying that she wasn't answered him back in a very strong manner, saying you obviously are not the man you're supposed to be. And the other ones, everybody else is just saying that she was pleading with him to understand that she's not drunk, that she's not chas v'shalom, a person who is low life. Rather, she's just speaking out to God herself without any intermediary, but from a broken heart, or from that sort of thing. So now Yud Zayin. So it says, Vaya'an Eli. Eli answered, Vayomer, and he said, L'chi l'shalom, go in peace. L'chi is a command form. L'chi l'shalom, go in peace. Ve'elokei Yisrael, and the God of Israel, Yitain, will give. Et she'latech, there's an aleph missing here. If you look, it's usually would say she'latech, right? Shin aleph lamed would normally be asking your request. Okay, she'latech. So he will give your request.
Is that like the
Sha'ila, yeah, she'ela. Shaila is the Aramaic, the Yiddish slur of she'ela. Then that's, yeah, but I'm saying Shaila is, there's no such word as Shaila, is Yiddish. It's Yiddishized and it comes from Sha'al, from She'ela, but when you're going She'ela, so it comes to Shaila.
It's a request.
Right.
Asking a question.
So, but I'm saying right here, the aleph is missing.
Yeah.
That's my point. The aleph is missing. And the reason, but just on a simple manner, the reason the aleph is missing is because sometimes it gets slurred, so you don't hear the aleph. That's the grammatical reason, strangely enough. That sometimes the aleph is just missing because you don't always hear it. So that's why it's not a. Again, we would normally say it, but just as you have Shaila, so Shayla, so you lose the A. You go She'ela, it should be. She'ela Seich, right. But because, just the way it works, that the aleph is lost because, on a simple matter, the aleph is lost because you don't always hear it. That's all.
Is any of the person giving
For a doctor will say, that's, I'm using his,
he's going to say that?
I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But it's a common thing. Right. So I'm just pointing that out, that she'latech is not a new word. It's just missing an aleph. So Hashem, your God, will give your request, or will fulfill your request, sha'alta me'imo, that you have asked from him. So Eli apparently takes after taking her insult, also accepts her apology if you follow Rashi. Otherwise, just in general, he is still he is the Gadol Hador, he's the giant of the generation, he's a prophet, so he knows what Hashem is going to do. Okay. That's the Orm B'tumim, that's what he gets for wearing the Orm B'tumim. Rashi says, Rashi comments, the Chaser Aleph is missing the Aleph. The Drosh Lashon Banim, to give you the explanation of sons. Kamo, as it says, Vishalyata Hayotzei, from the placenta that goes forth. Yitain Shalatech will give will fulfill your, or give your request. Basra, he announced to her that her prayer was accepted. Okay. Let's see, on the English, does he say anything? Yeah. Okay. Next. Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't do the Malbim. So Yan Eli. Rashi said. Malbim says, "Yan Eli." Rashi said, "Sidko devareha." After Eli saw that her words were righteous, Paisa, he appeased her, the Amrullah, and he said to her, "L'chila shalom, go in peace." And that to which you daven to Hashem without an intermediary, he named it Tzad Shehu Elokei Israel Mashgiach Aleim Mashgacha Pratit. Behold, from the side, from that God is the supervisor of everybody and gives a special supervision to people. Nifla, Geder Shem Yisrael. That's why it's called the God of Israel, because He's looking over us specifically. Hu yitain et she'elatecha she'sha'alta mimenu, so He will fulfill your request that you asked of Him. Levado, that you asked of Him alone, below melamed zechu, without anybody announcing what you've done to deserve this. Malach u'melis yosher, so without a malach, without an angel, or without a good interceder. Hashem, you broke through the walls. And this is what we also learn, that the walls of that prayer, if you avodas shebalev, the service of the heart, if the one gate that is never closed is a gate of tears. Now, when you want something, I mean, you can't force the tears out of your eyes, but if you really want something, Hashem is going to understand that, and if it's for your good, of course, then Hashem will grant it. You don't need to go through actually Sibor, which is why, when people come to me and they'll ask me, because they think I'm a holier person than them, just because I have smicha, which is not a good reason to think I'm a holier person than them, but they will come to me to say, pray for blank. And my response is always, pray yourself. Have the other person pray. We're all the same distance. But nonetheless, people have that concept. So he is saying that you broke through and your prayers will be answered. Good. But Omer, she said, Timsa shivchatcha chein benecha, let your maid servant find favor in your eyes. But the woman went on her way and she ate. And her face, and this is a strange language, it's clearly missing a word, and her face was not still there. It was no longer there. So what's going on? It obviously means her sad face. So first of all, she gives her, she says to him, let your maidservant find grace in your eyes. Well, why does she need that at all? Why say that at all? He called her a drunk, and she defended herself. He then said, you're right, I hear you, and your prayer will be answered. Then she says, let your maidservant find favor in your eyes. That should have been before, not now. What are you saying it now for? So Rashi says, the vakesh aleh rachmim, and again Rashi says, it fills in words. Let your maidservant find favor in your eyes, that you should request upon her compassion. Which again, I'm not sure why she's compassionate at this point, since she already got it. But that would be an interesting. Just following that would be an interesting question on Rashi.
Maybe she's saying that she recanted her former phraseology of her comeback to him and stuff like that.
Well, she did that before. That was in verse 16. When she says, she said it already. Okay. So now she seems to be extra davening to say, find favor in your eyes. So we'll have to figure that out as to why. Right. So that's interesting. As to, she's saying, request compassion. And then says, Rashi continues, and her face was not still there. What does that mean? Panim shal za'am. Again, the face of sadness, to anger, whatever.
Yeah, so I looked at that in a way it struck me as though her face was not anymore there.
Right.
Sad.
Sad.
Assumption. In other words, her face just didn't look like it did before.
Correct.
So the face
But,
referring to what it looked like before.
the biggest thing is when you go to a doctor and you think something's wrong, and the doctor comes back and says, all tests came back negative. Well, you're very relieved, right? You're relieved at that point. So she was also relieved. She came with a sad face. Nobody knows if God accepts our prayers. We don't know that. We know God listens to our prayers, but we don't know if God accepting means that He's going to do what I ask. It's just for definition purposes. So we don't know if God's going to do it. And here you get a prophet telling you, or the Kohen Gadol telling you that Hashem will fulfill your prayer. So now I can walk away happy.
That's powerful, huh?
It's very powerful. Yeah, you can imagine somebody says to you, Hashem is going to give, you prayed for whatever you prayed for, and Hashem is going to fulfill your wish. Thank you very much. Now I can go home, I can relax. Now the other part of that, of course, is, and this may be what Rashi is referring to when he says, pray for mercy, pray for me for mercy, is Hashem will do what I asked right now, but that could change if I do something wrong. In other words, it's not a guarantee. Hashem accepted my prayer. He accepted everything I was saying. But what happens if I do something wrong? So I'm going to lose it. And on top of that, I don't know when it's going to happen. Right? I can pray for a lot of things. But if I don't know when God didn't give me a time element. He didn't, like He said to Sarah and Avram, when he sees this line in the wall, when the sun reaches this point, you'll have the child, or whatever the case may be. God didn't say that here. So it just says that God accepting. So she's saying that could possibly be why she's saying pray for me. Okay, let's see. The Malbim says on this, yeah, so if a Tomer Timsach, she said, let your maidservant find favor in your eyes. Ki hayu devarav etzla, because his words concerning her, kein havtacha, they were like a promise. Sheyim alei Hashem v'chashadah, that Hashem will fulfill her prayers. So that's what she said. Let her. Okay, that's how he's looking at it. Till Darkan, she went on her way. Pirush Chachmen Zichron Uvracha Shechazal Yot La Orech Kenashem. So the rabbis explained that she regained her menstrual cycle. Uvezeh Yada'a, and this she knew. Nitrapa, that she was healed. So now she's getting her menstrual cycle again. When you get a menstrual cycle, it means you can have babies. Apparently before this she was not. I forget if we said that before.
Do you know how old she is at this point?
Absolutely not. We never know how old women are. You don't ask women. I can't imagine she was that young.
No.
So if she had to have her cycle started, I mean she's at least she's two thirds. Yeah, she's 2/3 of her life gone. So usually it's 2/3 of her life. You have right. Because most people end around 50, right? And 50, 60 was going to be 50, 60 is very late, but around the 50s. So you usually hit menopause, and that's it. So that's about 2/3 of your life. Now I don't know if it'll be different. In other words, the girls who died at 40s, when mortality rate was at 40 and 50. So I don't know if the girls stopped menstruating earlier than that. That would be an interesting question, but
Mortality rate in those earlier centuries of millennia, because we didn't. Well, they had herbal medicine, but they didn't have the antibiotics. They didn't have even the surgical treatments for diseases. So, a person could die when they're 40 and not really look that old, perhaps.
no. But what I'm asking is, where mortality rate was 40 to 50, did the menstrual cycle stop at 2/3 of life, or was it?
I'm saying perhaps it didn't.
Okay, so
the body was aging the same all along. It was just what disease and other certain things, and then we didn't have treatment.
Okay, so that would mean that a woman could literally have a baby till she died. Yeah. Okay. And then, so what happens is now we're seeing, because of our longer lives, we're seeing the onset of menopause, and and so on and so forth. It could be that that's what's going on. And so then, by the way, if that would be true, so the question would be, what happens if we live for 500 years? Is it still stop at 60 or 50?
Oh.
That like with Sarimena or Rivka or anybody else. That would be the question. I don't.
Oh, so she was what?
It was 9. That was.
And she laughed. I got that.
Right. Because her menstrual cycle stopped and then it came back. So the question again is, when does it stop? And the women who live longer, people are living long. So if you go to the Torah's point, so if that's the case, when did the menstrual cycle stop? When did Chav's 130 years later, she's still producing kids? And it wasn't a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. So again, that would be the question. How long in a normal situation does it go by? And there's no way to determine that, by the way. But it would be an interesting hashkafic question, at most. Where if a person lives longer, does that mean that their menstrual cycle will last longer? Or does it always say no? Right. That would be the question that you have to ask on that. Okay. So she says, L'chein, tochal, therefore she ate. Why did she start eating? Neged shetchila lo achla, because originally she wasn't eating. Neged, that's why I said she ate now. That's one thing. And neged, lama tipcha lama yera levavcha. It's also telling us she ate because originally she was asked, why are you crying? Why do you have a bitter heart? It says, Shnei elu yukaru alpan. And both of these things were seen on her face. Amar shepaneh kodem lo haya laod. So now the pasuk is telling us that her face no longer looked that way. Oh, and the rabbis tell us that originally her face looked like a monkey, and now it had healed up. So I don't know what that is all about. I will just go with that and say, aha. Okay. But, yeah. Sometimes you have to really know what's going on. Yeah, I don't know why a monkey. Okay, let's go. Simple explanation is, of course, that she just was relieved. Okay. And then it says, Vatomer, she said, I'm sorry, Vayesh Yutet, 19. Vayeshkim Vaboker. They got up in the morning. V'yishtachavu lifnei Hashem, and they bowed down, they davened before Hashem. Vayashuvu, and they returned. V'yavo el beitam haramata, and they came to their house in Ramah. V'yeda Elkanah et Chana ishto, and Elkanah knew his wife Chana. V'yizkareh Hashem, and Hashem remembered her. So you have a couple of questions here.
The word
yeah, towards Ramah. Directional height, right. So now, what would be some of the questions you could ask? Let me ask you guys again. I'm going to go back to you. What's some of the questions you can ask on this verse?
Yeah, who is they? Okay. Who's they? What else? They could simply be Elkanah and their whole family. Remember, they're at Shiloh. So there's actually there's a break between 18 and that, because, at 18, she's finishing her interaction with aliens.
Right, now she's
now all of a sudden, you're switching now, it's not telling us that.
Right, that's number one, good. Then it says they got up early in the morning, they bowed down before Hashem, they returned, they came home, and the Torah tells us, Elkanah knew, the Tanakh tells us, Elkanah had sexual relations with his wife, and Hashem remembered her. So what are some of the questions you could ask? Yeah.
I was going to say that, back in 18, if we put one word in there, this would make sense. And she said in her heart or to herself.
What?
You know, in the first word there, if we
Oh,
put
oh.
in her heart.
They're talking about Billy Bo? Why? No, it's saying, she's talking to Eli. Let your maid servant find favor in your eyes, Eli. It's not in her heart. She's speaking to him.
Okay.
She's speaking to him. But that's the end of that. Now, 19, we go to a different topic
It's
already.
abruptly changing.
Right, it's abrupt.
Okay,
It's,
you're
yeah.
going from scene 1 to scene 2, it's not.
Right, we had a discussion.
Yeah.
So the question would be, when it comes to, they woke up early in the morning, they bowed to Hashem. What are you talking about, bowed to Hashem? Didn't they already daven? That's what they were doing there the whole time. Why
No,
are
they
they?
woke up the next day already.
But why are they bowing? They already did it. What do they have to do again for? Why are you davening again? What, Shacharis again?
It's the next day.
You want to say that, okay? That would be one thing. But why they? Why not just he?
That's what I said. Why they?
No, I'm saying why they bowed down. Why not just he bowed down? He's the one who's davening. It's not for a woman to daven.
Elkanah?
Okay, let's say.
It doesn't tell us that.
No, it's plural also. Vayishtakavu, they, that he, that
Huh?
they. Vayishtakavu is they also.
Oh, wait, what?
It's also they. It's only they. It's not he.
Yeah.
It should be he. Or just, how about this? They just say Vayashkim v'boker. They woke up early in the morning. Vayashuvu, and they returned and they came home. Why do you have to hear it? The davening to Hashem. Really, even if he davened to Hashem, so what?
And they arose early in the morning, and they bowed down.
They davened, right? They davened.
Okay, so assuming that Eli went off in his own direction, he's not going back.
My question.
He's not part of this.
No. Eli's gone. Eli's out of the
Yeah.
picture. My question is, he could have just said they got up early in the morning, if they even have to say that, and they went, or it could have just said, skip the first 5 words, Vayashuvu, and they returned. She got what she wanted. Vayashuvu ve'yavo el beitam haramata, and they came back. No, fine.
They went back.
No, Elkanah was eating. Elkanah was eating with his family. That's why in 18, when it says she got up and she ate, right?
She ate.
Okay, that was 18.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is the next verse could have just started off with Vayashuvu, and they returned because she got what she wanted. Ve'yavo el beitam, and they went home.
Where does Eli live?
Eli lives in Shiloh.
Okay, so
Eli has nothing to do with this. Eli's gone.
Talking about him.
Eli's gone. Have a good day.
Yeah. So,
Right.
so it seems like Elkanah got into the scene here someplace, and
No, he got, again, the next morning, he gets it, right.
they're both davening. So what's wrong with that?
But you don't have to hear that. Why should I have to hear that? I know they're going to daven. I don't need to hear that. Why?
She got this answer.
No, but-
she got this answer from Eli the day before.
So you want to say they're giving
both
thanks?
grateful.
So you want to say they're giving thanks? Okay.
They're
but-
both grateful.
but that-
they had relations.
So, but that itself, you'll learn. No, they didn't have relations yet. They have to go home to have
Oh,
relations.
after they got home.
By the way, why didn't they have relations before? Why didn't they have relations in Shiloh? They were living in a hotel. You're in a hotel, so they'll change the sheets. What's the big deal? Leave me alone. Why we have to hear all these things? So.
There's not much privacy in those ins and those
Oh, could be. Okay, let's see. So Rashi says, by the way, Rashi says, Yavo el beitam v'yedei Elkanah. So you see, he answers that question. Vikan, why no relations there in Shiloh? Vikan la'ach nasi she'as l'tashmi shmita. From there, we find that a guest is forbidden to have sexual relations with his wife in somebody else's home because of the problem of the dirty sheets and everything else. Nobody has to see what you do. No, not that. It can sometimes be a little messy when you're, things like that. So,
you keep my sheets clean.
right, so you don't want to get involved in that. So,
None of this daily laundry here.
it's not like you go to a hotel here. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's the first thing. So that's just common decency that you don't do it. And this, by the way, this brought down the halacha that you shouldn't do it in somebody else's home because of the problem of the sheets. So what happens if you bring your own sheets, whatever.
Younger days, before the marriage, when we went away from my
that I don't do.
Ah, good. What's the room to look before the maid?
I never care. If I go to, that's what they get paid for. The only time you have to make the bed is if you have to daven there. Yeah, you have to make the bed. But if you're not davening, I don't have to start making the bed. That's what they have to do. They get paid to do that. That's supposed to hit them for. Okay, so that's what Rashi says. Then the Malbim says why it says they woke up early in the morning and they bowed down. If it says our rabbis say Shalach Havlan Sarach Lehi partition that the people who are staying overnight, they need to say goodbye again. In other words, you don't just say goodbye at night or when you finish your job and then leave like a thief in the night. Rather, you go back to your host, and in this case God, and you say, you bow down again, and you bow down again. The mitzvah, and that's one side. Or mitzvah shabarku b'devar Hashem, or it's on the side that they were certain in the word of Hashem, and to come to tell us that they bow down to Hashem for listening to their prayers. So this becomes a very central verse, where they wake up early in the morning, and again, they normally would leave, right? You wake up early in the morning because you want to catch the early train, the early flight, whatever, and you want to leave. Well, if you're staying with somebody's home, unless they tell you, please do not wake me up, really, you should say goodbye to them again, and thank you so much for what you're doing. Yeah. Okay, it's only common courtesy. Yeah. And as you're learning from that pasuk, which will live for Hashem, and then what you're learning also is that you shouldn't have relations in somebody's home, rather you wait till you get home, and then you have relations. And even though you could argue, by the way, and this, again, we have to hear this, even though you could say, well, Hashem said, Eli told me, Chana would say, Eli told me, Elkanah, honey, yeah, Eli told me that Hashem is going to listen, so we have to make a baby. Guess what? Although she had her cycle, which is, she's suddenly got her cycle again, which means she can't do it anyway. But let's assume that you would have, maybe that's why they also had to wait. But let's assume that you got that commandment, so you're going to come to your husband and say, honey, we have to do it. And he says, no, baby, I'm sorry, you're in somebody else's house. You have to wait till you go home. You have to wait till we get home, and then we can do it. So there's a lot going on in this verse. Okay. Then it says, Vayihi, it's verse 20, Vayihi l'tkufot hayamim, so it was after a season of days. I don't know how they put that. It was when the time came about. Okay, there you go. The kufot is hayamim, is really season of the days. Vatahar Chana was pregnant. Vatela ben, she gave birth to a boy. Vatikrat Shmuel, she called his name Shmuel. Ki mi Hashem she'il tiv, because from Hashem I have asked for him. So, and Rashi says, L'tkufot hayamim, what does that mean? Miu tekufot shtayim, the minimum of tekufot, the word tekufot season is 2. Miut yamim shnayim. Again, the minimum of days is 2. We always go down to 2. So what we have, the shisha chadashim shnei yamim. So the baby was in her womb for 6 months and 2 days. Mikan hayoledet l'shiva yoledet nukutayim. So here we learn that if you give birth to in the 7th month, the child is not going to make it. Okay. Shmuel al shem el v'al shem hama'asehu nikra. It was a combination of the words. It was on the name of God and on the name of the act that was done. Because I asked Hashem for it. That's how Rashi understands that. So Malbim says, Tikrat Shmuel, sheyesh bo shnei milot, Shaul me'el, and because there's 2 words here, Shaul asked Me'kel from Hashem, Zeh shekatuv, that's why it's Shmuel. So Zeh shekatuv ki me Hashem sha'altiv, that's why she said, because I've asked from Hashem, K'mo shekatuv, Shelo biksha al yidei emseim, she did not request through an intermediary, Rak Hashem levado, she only asked from Hashem himself. So that's again why she says Ki mi Hashem she'il tiv. I asked him for it. I didn't go through an intermediary. Next verse. Vaya al ha'ish Elkanah v'chol beito. So the whole, now next year comes around, we're flying through the time period here. The man Elkanah and his whole house went up. V'zboch lifnei el Hashem et zevach hayamim v'et nidro, to bring the offering of the days and his vow offering. So what's going on there? Malbim says, V'yal ha'ish kam ata. Also now, Hagam Shirau Haneish Chanah Elkanah, even though that the people of the town, saw the miracle that was done to Elkanah Yidei Tfilato b'Mishkan Hashem, through his prayer, or even it should be her prayer really, in the Mishkan of Hashem, Lo Allah Ish Minair, still in all, the men of that city did not go up Barak Elkanah Ibnei Beito, only Elkanah and the people of his household. Here the Malbim is really giving a bit of Musar, or the, if you will, the book of Shmuel is giving Musar to everybody. What happened? I want you to hear what's going on here. He said originally that Elkanah was the only one from his town who went up to Shiloh to offer karbanos. Why? Because Eli's kids were not acting appropriately. They were doing things incorrectly. So people became discouraged and said, well, I'm not going to go, let me update this, I'm not going to go to shul if all they're going to do is hit me up for donations. I'm tired of that. Leave me alone. All they do is pass the tzedakah plate. You go to church, all they do is pass the plate around, and the more money I give, the more to the front I get to go. It's all about money, 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 right? So here, the same thing. They're saying the same thing. It's all about money. They're stealing from me. They're not doing what I want. So religion's a scam, and that's the end of it. Now whoever's watching that, that's all they're going to say. Rabbi never said religion is a scam. Okay. But really, that's what they were arguing with. This is a scam. So why should I get involved in this? So now what happens is you have a person who didn't have a baby. She was past her menstrual cycle. It was done. And now she davened to Hashem, and she gets the menstrual cycle. And they see that. And she had a baby. Again, she never should have had a baby. She has a baby. They see that prayer does work. So the Malbim says at that point, people should have realized it's not a scam. It's a real thing. All you have to do is daven to Hashem. Don't worry about the incidentals of the boys acting inappropriately. That's on them. That's their headache. Don't worry about it. It's nothing to do with you. No, and the people said, no, we're still not going to listen. This is something that is that's one of the hardest things to change. Because in reality, people don't want to give up their time and go to shul. Really, that's what's going on. Right. Any excuse is better than none. So you would say that this was a freak accident. He was a tzaddik. I'm not a tzaddik. It's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to bother. I'm such a Russia anyway. Why would Hashem listen to me? You have all these excuses in the world. The bottom line is that they should have started to come, and they should realize that this is real, and again, not a scam. That's what they should have realized. That's what the Malbim is telling us, and that's why the verse has to tell us that the man, Elkanah, and his entire household. That's all. Nobody else. Then it says, "V'zboach upo lo nishkal shkavot." Here it does not say to bow down or to worship, like it says above. She'ikar yishtachava haya ba'avo hatfilah Elkanah. Because when it was talking about his tachaveh, when he would be bowing down or praying, the main reason for that was so that Chana would have a child. And that was unnecessary now. And he says, and the fact that he's going to bow down because he's coming to Shiloh, that we don't have to mention now because that is understood. And then Nidro, he brought his vow offering, Mashanadar, who be Yechud, that which he voluntarily, that's when he made a vow to bring alone, Bavor Shenifkadat Ishtav, because his wife had given birth. His wife got pregnant. So he said, when his wife got pregnant, he said, I'm going to bring a personal, I'm making a vow to bring something. So he had to bring that at that time. The Chana, on the other hand, Chana lo al alata. Chana did not go up with him this time to Shiloh. Ki amara the Isha, because she told her husband, Ad Yigamel Hana'ar V'Viotiv, until the child is weaned, and then I will bring him V'Nir'a Epnei Hashem, and he will be seen at the face of Hashem, Vayashav Sham Ad Olam, and he will remain there forever. So she's laying down the law. How long will it take? So Rashi says, Ad Yigamel L'Sof Kaf Beit Chadashim. In other words, at the end of 2 years, 22 months, 22 months, which is a little less than, some people say 24 months, so that's 2 years. That is the normal time that a baby nurses. And the baby will normally start eating foods, well, actually after about a month and, after about a year and a half, I'm guessing the child starts to eat, or even earlier. I forget when the babies start to eat real food. I forget when babies start to eat real food. I think it's within the first year even. Yeah. Even the mashed up stuff. You realize that's the first, that's earlier than 9 months? I forget. No, not a month. No. Not a month.
Oh, you start with like what they call cereal, very cereal.
Yeah, that is.
Very, very fine.
First couple of months. No, I can't. Yeah, I think that's
1 year or 2 years.
But the point is that after a while, the baby wean. And by the way, Yigamel is passive. He will wean himself. He will wean himself. So in other words, the mother will always give him the breast until he no longer wants it. He's leave me alone. I'm through. Yeah, but now I'm through. I don't need anymore. So so we always say that it's 2 years. Now it doesn't mean that you can't go longer than 2 years. I mean, I've heard stories that people go 3 and 4 and 5 years. I think we're getting a little far with 5 years. 4 years. I think when the kid can start talking, I think it's enough. But nonetheless, but you have people who want to save money, I guess. So they'll give them a nipple, and but that's not normal. The normal thing is within 2 years. I shouldn't say normal. That's not the talk of who does that. So I'm saying, according to the Torah, 2 years is this year. That's right. Call it a day at that. Okay, then so she's saying in 2 years, I'm going to go to shul in 2 years. Here's another one, another famous answer that women like. While they're nursing, while they're having babies, they never go to shul. There's always an excuse. Not that they have to go anyway. I mean, it's just they have to go at all. But if they would, but now, if they normally are, and there was a very interesting thing. I remember this. It was a Reform rabbi. I forget. I don't want to. I think I know who the name, but I don't want to say the name because I may be wrong. So I'll leave it there. A big Reform rabbi who was writing articles, and she always said that she had a problem with the prayer, "Shlo asani isha," that did not make me a woman. Okay, so she had a problem with that, and that's why she would never say it. And she thought it was a tremendous insult, even though she knows rabbinic reasons. Blah 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 blah. Well, and the rabbinic reason was, of course, and women aren't obligated, not time bound, because of the babies. And she again thought that was very, very insulting until she had a child. That's the article. Until she had a child, then she realized the brilliance of what was going. Again, she has to admit that the Torah was given by God. She's saying the rabbis. She said then she realized the rabbis' brilliance. That women, when they're nursing and taking care of the baby, they can't always make minyan. They can't always do these things. She wanted to, but she couldn't do it. She's the only one who has the equipment to feed the baby. If you want, it was in a magazine or news magazine. Right. This was such a famous article, and again, it was a Reform rabbi who was writing it. And you could see she was really bothered by it too. But she, on one hand, she loved it because she was a mother. On the other hand, there's as a woman's liber, she had to admit that the rabbi, right, the rabbi was right, or that the Torah was right. Again, we say it's from the Torah, so. But I remember that, again, I forget who it was. I would have to, yeah, it's a long time ago. I was still in Moncton, I guess. But I think that's why, because she was from Toronto. If I'm thinking of the right rabbi, she actually started out in a different place, but she ended up in Toronto. I'm pretty sure this is one. But the point is that she realized that you can't always do it. Now, she said, now, doesn't mean I'm always going to exempt myself. I'm going to go back. But let's face it, there's something going on here. So, that's what, I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, it's true. But what I found interesting was here you had a woman who was very strong, a staunch woman, liber, so much so she had to get tzimich, ordination, so on and so forth. And I'm guessing she's a good teacher. I have no thing, I don't know her personally, but and by the way, most of the people I have met as I said many times, they are very dedicated, regardless of where they align, how much I disagree with their hashkafa, they're dedicated to their calling normally, unless you have someone who are really burned out, but then you should have a business, that's all. But originally they thought they could do something for Yisrael. I'm guessing. So here, like I said, she came to that realization, and same thing with Chana. Chana is saying to her husband, every year I used to come with you, very nice, but now I'm going to wait. I want to until he becomes weaned. He'll wean himself. When he weans, it's just only 2 years. The rabbis are saying. So then I'll come and I'll bring him, and he will stay there forever. So what happens? Rashi is V'yashav Sham ad olam forever. Olamim shal leviyim chamishim yom chamishim shana. How long she really means? She didn't really mean forever. She meant for 50 years. Because that's when Leviyim, that's what he is. He's a Levi, finished their service. So he will be inducted from birth until 50 years old, and then he can go on vacation. Okay, he can retire after 50 years. Sharei Eli Shafat Israel, as we know, Eli judged Israel for 40 years. V'yom Tefilat Chana Nitmana Shofet. On the day that Chana prayed, that's when Eli was appointed to the Shofet. Say Otashana Liborosal Shmuel. Now go out from the year that of the birth of Shmuel. Nishtaru Lamatet. So you have 39 years left. And then Shmuel Pernes Shmuel Mishamed Eli Gimel Shana. Shmuel was the leader of the Jewish people for 13 years after Eli. Sharei Yom Shemed Eli, because on the day that Eli died, Gila Ha'aron V'yesha B'ishtim Zayin Kadashim, because on the day that Eli died, so the Aaron was exiled, as it were, in other words, was captured and stayed with the police for 7 months. Misham Baal Kiryat Ye'arim, from there went to Kiryat Ye'arim, Asher Eleu David, until David brought up to Kiryat Ye'arim, Mishamala Sheva Shanim V'Chevron Al Yehuda, king for 7 years in Hebron of Yehuda, in Richu, Kol Shavem, and then from Al Israel, made him king, Yom Shabbat HaAron, because Ye'arim is from the day that the Aaron came to Kiryat Ye'arim, the Yirva Yamim, Eshim Chanah, and it was there for 20 years. Semehem Sheva Shanim, and now take away 7 of those years, Shemalach David Hebron, that David was king in Hebron. Nimsa Shila Aaron Ad Shemait Shaul, so then you find that Aaron out of his place until the death of Shaul, 13 years. Shim Chadashim, 7 months. The small made of Shaul Arba'a. Shmuel died 4 months. Shmuel died 4 months before Shaul. So Rashi loves giving you explanation as far as time. But what you're seeing is, as I made this point many times, Ad Olam forever. This means a specific amount of time. It doesn't mean forever. Okay? Forever is very difficult. Allah is forever or forever. song. That's a famous song. Will you love me forever? And now I'm waiting for the end of time, right? That's Meatloaf, I think they were saying that. But it's a very movable scale. So, let's go on. So what happens? Vayomer Elkanah Isha. So Elkanah, her husband, said to her, Asiya Tobe, and I do what's good in your eyes. Shavi ad gam leichoto, stay until you wean him. Here it's you wean him, not he's weaning himself, but until you wean him. Ach came Hashem et harod, but Hashem will fulfill His word. V'teisha ve'isha v'teinek epanam, and the woman stayed and she nursed her baby ad gamla oton shil, until she weaned him. So what does it mean? Just Hashem will, but Hashem will fulfill His word. Et sha'alta mimenu zera an Hashem, that which you asked, that you wanted a male seed. Ve'eli bisarcha ruach hakodesh elokei shel yitenu she'elatech, and Eli announced via this prophecy of that Hashem, that the God of Israel will give you a request. You come, Hashem at the Varom, let Hashem fulfill His word. This is a simple explanation. Then Midrash Haggadah says, Rabbi Nechemiah b'shem Rabbi Shmuel, Rabbi Yitzchak Amar b'chol yom v'yom, bat kol yoseim mifusetzet b'olam v'mered. Every day the bat kol goes out, the heavenly voice goes out and blasts or bangs through the world and says, Atid tzaddik ata echad lahamod u'shmo Shmuel. That in the future one righteous person will stand, and his name is Shmuel. V'chol isha shayta yeleben, so every woman that gave birth to a son, hayta kara Shmo Shmuel. Shmuel was a very popular name that year. Everybody was be called Shmuel because everybody said there's one tzaddik that's going to be raised up, and his name would be Shmuel. Kevin Shahayu wrote in at Ma'asav, when they would see, that when these people would see their son's actions, Hayu Omrim Ein Zeh Shmuel. No, this guy is not the Shmuel we wanted. Apparently, the kid was not a tzaddik. They came in Shnola Zeh, but now when Shmuel was born, and they saw how he was acting, Amru Domel Zehu, they said, oh, this could be the guy. Zeh Sha'amar, and this is why he says, you come, Hashem, et Vero Hashem fulfilled His word, may Hashem fulfill His word, She'ezeh Shmuel Tzaddik, that this would be Shmuel the righteous. So that's the bracha. In other words, you understand the problem Rashi had? The problem is you have a baby. What does it mean only Hashem should fulfill His word? So because everybody named their kid Shmuel, because the bat kol came on and said that there's going to be a tzaddik born, and his name will be Shmuel. So everybody names their kid Shmuel. So, and when they see how he's acting, they say, man, not a tzaddik. Now they see this kid, he hasn't been weaned yet. So Elkanah says, Hashem fulfilled His word with His child, Shmuel. Now that also puts a little damper on what she said, right? She said, and I'm following just that, she said the reason I called him Shmuel is because me Hashem, She'el Shiv, I asked for him from Hashem. Shmuel, Hashem heard, and so on and so forth. So if you're going to say now the bat kol did it, that sort of ruins what she was saying. It could be a dual reason. You could argue that back and forth, but it's a very interesting thing. With the Malbim, we'll just finish this with the Malbim. Vayomer la, he said to her, did I miss something? Oh, I missed that. Okay, we'll do two. So Chana lo alta, Chana did not go up. Hagam shaya derech hayodol alo pe'atzmon lahavi kneim. Even though it's the normal way for the people who people gave birth to go up themselves and to bring their sacrifice of the birds. Shekol korbanon hayah mitzvah she'avim ba'al korban yad ha'kohen can go up the Torah kohanim, because it's a mitzvah that all the korbanos that's commanded has to be brought by the person who's supposed to bring the korbanon. Okay, so ayin perish the Torah kohanim apasuk apetach ha'ma'ed. Fine. Kol zeh lo alta. Even though she was supposed to bring the korban, she didn't go up. Bashir chashva shebechalala nidra hi sheba'am harishon Shaviu Yireh Pnei Hashem Lo Yamush Misham, because she held that once Shmuel will go to the Mishkan, he will not, and he will see the face of Hashem, as it were. He will not be able to come back. V'lo yashuv or the beitov. That's what she said. Ad yigamel hana'ar v'haviotev, until the boy is weaned, then I'll bring him. Shuhu tam kimi eda shenirah ed pnei Hashem, and the reason is because when he appears before Hashem the first time, v'yashav sham ad olam, he will stay there and not return. That's number one. Then vayom Allah. So Elkanah said, Harei ha-neder hazeh asta hi below da'at bala. Behold, this neder she made was without the knowledge of her husband. V'haya lo reshut lahafir oto ata b'yom shamo. And now that he heard the promise that she made, he has the power to annul it. Right? If your wife makes a vow that's going to be something bad for you, so you have the day you hear of it, you can annul it. But prop and neder kazen, specifically this neder, this vow shelo yala koach al zeh below bala, that she didn't have any power without her husband agreeing. Aval who kishmua ata. But when he hears it now, im nadara hekimota, if at nadara, when he hears now the vow, hekimoto, he said, good. Do what's right in your eyes. You can give the baby to his whole life to Hashem. And so the first time that he comes, he will stay the rest of his for the rest of the time as well. For this reason, stay here until you wean him. Like you said, just let Hashem fulfill his word. Come on. Because Chana had the prophecy that Shmuel will be the shofet over Israel, and he would save them from their plunderers, and all the matters that would happen to Vada Gilta and Zobala. And certainly she revealed this to her husband. That's why he said Hashem should fulfill his word, which means I agree with your vow. Also, but Hashem should also agree with your prophecy, and fulfill that which he spoke to you. So that's really what's going on. Elkanah had the right, even though it's 2 years later, to say no, or actually a year, right after the birth. I didn't know anything about it, this vow that you made. He could have said, no, you have a child, I'm not going to give the child, I'm not going to let you leave the child in the Beis HaMikdash, that's my child. Or in this case, the Mishkan, it's my child, I won't do it. I'm shutting down your vow. The answer is no. You said it, honey. If that's what you want, no problem. We'll let that happen. You can go at your speed, and that'll be it. And Hashem, you said it, your prophecy was that he's going, according to Malbim, is that he's going to lead the people and stop all the punishments. May that be the case too. Okay. Any questions?